Hello everybody. So this was a surprise. I did not expect them to be here this early. As you see, this is SH Figuarts Pan, GT version, and Gill from Premium Bandai. This is a figure I've been wanting because I'm trying to collect all of the characters' bloodlines. That include all of Frieza's, all of Vegeta's, and all of Goku's. Pan was the last one I needed for Goku. I do not own Gotenks, and I will not be buying one, not until they make just Goten. And if they ever make just Future Trunk, or just Kid Trunks, I'll get him too. Until then, no. So, out of the box, now we see her figure box. We got some product shots, your jingle jambles. Here's Kid Goku, which I do not own, and Future Trunks, who I also do not own. GT Trunks. Keep calling him Future Trunks. It doesn't matter. So, who is in this box? Obviously, we have Pan, and we have Gill. Gill is a little robot made by Capsule Corp, I believe. It's been a long time since I've watched GT. So I think that's correct. Now, I will say this. Pan is tiny. She is easily the smallest figure I own. And that's including Tones and Art Toys Kid Buu. I have him. So let's get her out of the box. Out of the box, like I said, she's minuscule. She's not even, hell, I don't even think she's 6 inches tall at the most. But that does not mean she is not well articulated, and she is indeed. So we have butterfly joints, you know, kind of the norm. She is almost a 3.0. She's somewhere close. But I mean, look at that range. Completely crosses her arms. Her shoulders actually have like a duo butterfly. So we have your regular butterfly joint, and then you can also kind of twist her shoulders and get a little bit more turn out of them. As for the elbows, this is where I say the figure is almost 3.0. She only has single jointed elbows and single jointed knees, but that is perfectly okay for a figure this small. Her head, you know, it's got stem. There's no neck joint. She is a kind of pitiful ab crunch, but an okay arcing back. You know, arms go full 360. She has actually articulated wrists, which I found impressive for something this small, for a scale of this size to have articulated wrists. And she actually does have, she has a forearm swivel and a bicep swivel. I call it a swivel. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Going forward, she does have 3.0 legs. Now, the only bit of QC I've noticed is her thigh joint, I don't know if you can see it, her thigh joint likes to go outside of the hip. It's a little weird. The only issue I have so far with this is, like, this is the most you can, like, spread, which is fine. I mean, it's a 3.0, so what do you expect? But she has, like, she has this little chain thing that she wears on her belt, and that's part of the show. The aesthetics is, like, you know, the late 90s. And if it wasn't for this leg only going that far, I would almost say that kind of messes with the range of mobility, but it doesn't really. It just kind of seems that way in your mind, you know, because her leg's only going this far, and you're like, hey, you know, most of them can get like a full split. But other than that, we have a thigh swivel. We have, like I said, single jointed knee. We actually have a pretty good ankle. I mean, that's pretty good for a figure this size. No pivot, really, but, I mean, it twists, toe bend, you know, standard. So, what else do we have in this box? We also have her little backpack. Everybody who's watched GT knows that this is where she hides the Dragon Balls from Ice and Nuova Shenron. Now, out of the box, you kind of wonder, how do I get this on? Well, I found out a little late. I had done it a few times last night for pictures, and I figured it out a little late. There's actually, they slot in. You can slot them in down here, in the bottom of the bag. So that helps. And inside, you can actually hid their little production stamp inside her backpack, which I think is funny. What else do we have in there? We have these. We have these little key ball hands, which they are tiny. I mean, her hands are itty bitty. What I didn't realize is that these actually come off. These are pegged on out of the box. You can just slide the balls off if you want. Well, maybe on that one, maybe not this one. But yeah, they're itty bitty, not bad. Itty bitty little hands. Because I mean, her wrist peg, it's so little, so tiny. Like I said, she's easily the smallest figure I now own. And again, really good articulation besides that, you know. We also have some other hand sets. Some kind of like grabby hands, which are obviously for when she helps do key blasts and such. And then we have, God, they're so small. I'm almost worried I'll lose them. We have these little open hands, kind of standard. Now here's something I was not expecting. I saw it in the product shots, and I wondered how it was going to work. They have a crossed arms for this tiny little pan. Now this is where I said we'd get into the bicep swivel. It is actually, ooh, it's a ball. It's just a ball and socket. Her sleeves are made of soft rubber, as are these crossed arms. So hopefully there shouldn't be any issues. Like you shouldn't break anything off or anything like that. They kind of fight you going in. There you go. Kind of like that. I mean, it'll work. Ooh, I'm so worried. I'm so worried I'm gonna break her because she's so small. I don't like. I feel like I have to be more delicate because of how little she is. There we go. Little crossed arms pan. Now, something else they included in this box, which I thought was crazy for a figure this size, as well as a figure this price. She's not that expensive. We have windswept hair. Now, if you watch the product shots, which I'm sure you did, you see that she has windswept hair. Here's the weird thing. Her head comes off in the weirdest way you'd imagine. So, the face and the hair are two different slots. This would be a great time to go over the other expressions she has. She also has this open mouth, happy face. We have a angry, screaming face. And then we have a gritting teeth face. And we'll go with the open mouth, screaming face. So you slide the bangs on like that. They're not really one piece. They kind of just slide around your peg, and then they're just on there like that. And here's where it gets weird. So bandana comes off separate. Her neck peg goes at an angle. See, here's her peg. And you take this peg, slide it on in there. All of this is really soft, kind of rubber plastic too. It's not really hard plastic, except maybe the pegs themselves here, and obviously her boots and her other leg parts. But I mean, her head is soft plastic, her sleeves are soft plastic, her shirt's soft plastic. Yeah, like a lot of this figure is just really soft plastic. So you slide that on there like that, and then you take her face and you slide it on there. There you go. Now you have an angry pan with her hair kind of kerfuffled. And so that's really it for her. Now, like I said, you obviously also get Gill out of the box. Gill doesn't do anything really. Like, his legs don't move. All you can get out of him is some arm articulation. They don't butterfly out or anything like that. They just 360. That's all they do. Still, he's really well sculpted for so small. He's even smaller than her by a lot. Like, he comes up to her knee. He is a tiny guy, and she is not much bigger. Both these figures are like smaller than a soda can, like height-wise. Just crazy small. And the last thing in this box, you also get an extra happy face to go with your GT Kid Goku, if you have one. I do not. I had no interest. I do, however, have the DF GT color version of adult Goku, and that's probably one of my favorites. And he looks really good next to her. They look really well together. Again, I don't have GT Trunks, so I don't know. I have Future Trunks, and later tonight I might take a look and see how the two of them look together, see how her and Gohan look together. You never know. You never know. So, real quick, I'll show you guys how the backpack works before we're done. Overall, I think she's all right. You know, for a figure this price, you really can't beat how much you get out of her. She has so much articulation. She comes with a lot of pieces, a lot of little extra bits and accessories, and she's a good overall figure. Pan is she's a little rambunctious in the show, kind of a little tomboy, which is to be, you know, assumed. This is the 90s. I believe Pan is 14 in Dragon Ball GT. So I mean, she's a young girl. She's grown up with a bunch of very hyper-masculine men. She's learned fighting and all that from a young age. So it would make sense she becomes kind of a tomboy in that climate. She's still a girl. Don't get us wrong. I mean, she still has her girly moments in the show. But overall, I think Pan is a pretty good character to have in a show like that, you know? I mean, we don't really have any female characters other than Android 18 to help do any fighting. So seeing the world of Dragon Ball from a little girl whose dad is, you know, the most powerful fighter in the world, and her grandfather's right up there next to him, you know, it kind of opens your eyes to what regular life might be like for a character in Dragon Ball. Here's her little backpack on her. So, yeah. Overall, I mean, I have to give this figure a 10 out of 10 for what she is. The QC that I have, like I said, the one little hip point, that is so easy. Like, you just move her hip and it's fixed. It's not even noticeable. I have no problems with her as a figure. I mean, again, for someone so tiny, she has so much articulation, and that's really, really fascinating. It's amazing, the engineering that Premium Bandai was able to pull off. So, yeah, I mean, if you like GT, you want to get the trio together, you know, Trunks and Pan and Goku, and get the whole gang together, go ahead and do it. This figure, I have no disappointments. She is, for being the smallest figure I own, she's actually the best I've had in terms of QC. Like, other than like the big guys like Broly or hell, even King Cold, like she's right up there in terms of QC and you know, value for your dollar. She's a little pricey. I mean, all of these guys were Premium Bandai exclusives, so I mean, they're all a little pricey, but if all the Premium Bandai exclusives came out with this level of QC perfection, I'd probably buy more of them, honestly. So, like I said, this was Dragon Ball GT Pan, Premium Bandai exclusive. Let me know in the comments if you guys picked this figure up, or if you'd like to, or if you think, I'm not a big fan of the Premium Bandai exclusives, they should be cheaper. And by all means, I will agree on that. Hit me up in the comments, let me know your thoughts, let me know how you feel about her. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed.